All right, we have 3 more stories. Next is called Sweet Success, straight from Babson Health and with a diagnosis of pneumonia. It's Charlie Weiss.
So I'm going to do my best here. Might end up giving you the short version. It's a very well-loved piece of paper. Can you all hear me?
Yes.
Okay, we're good. Awesome. We're a brand new bakery rebelling from our ex-partner company, a cutesy brand with a horrible reputation. They've threatened to throttle our sales, insulted our remodel, let us take their customer service calls, but this time, they've gone too far. They've taken our oven. My boss, Mel, and I stand and stare. Where once stood the powerhouse of our bakery, there is an oven-shaped square of years-old dust. Mel's fury dissipates into sadness. She turns to me and says, "I don't blame you for jumping ship." And it's true. In just a week, I'll be out of here, leaving right in the middle of the chaos. Mel won't have her first mate. The problem is, her ship is my trampoline. This bakery caught me as I fell from my own ship, a dream of accomplishing the impossible among the world's greatest engineers. And staring at this lack of oven, I know that back at Olin, 3,000 long miles away, there's a patch of dust to match it. Only that one's Charlie-shaped. I remember how I left Olin, a flurry of wild mania, all emotions escalated, all conflicts catastrophic. All work overwhelming, all hours wild and awake, everything insane. See, if you have bipolar disorder, when your mental health calls, it screams. There was no way to navigate Olin's turbulent workflows with a mind like a leak-sprung boat in a hurricane. Before I knew it, I was tossed out into open waters, stripped of my Olin title. And for months, I was floating along with barely a life vest. All I could do was stare at the sky and agonize, a head full of self-deprecating thoughts and hopeless questions. I was lost. And after months adrift in an existential ocean, a pipe dream caught me, with a little help from some professional mental health care. A dream I'd always wanted to try, but no longer fit in my identity as an engineer. Work in a bakery. A tiny shop called Macarons by Mel. I imagined something cozy and sweet. What I got was something a bit more intense. I thought I demonstrated my fair share of ineptitude back at Olin. I'd watched circuits smoke, gears grind themselves into flakes, felt the crushing social anxiety of a bad user interview. Every failure was a strike against my competence as an engineer. One look at my resume might have seemed impressive, but one look at me in action and I knew my job prospects were toast. I would never be given the chance to do real work. I was too bad. But boy, did I show myself up in the bakery. I don't know what exactly I expected with absolutely no experience. How can I master macarons, one of the most classically difficult things to bake, without even a successful batch of muffins? I was just awful. I stepped on everyone's toes, burned caramels, made fruit leather instead of jam, needed every buttercream quality checked. Every mistake was a step further down the plank. By the end of my first 2 weeks, Mel was an inch away from throwing me overboard. But then, Mel's first mate quit, tossing me some sweet, sweet job security on her way out. The only thing worse than keeping me on was manning her shop alone. So there I was, suddenly manning half a shop I had no right to even be standing in, but I was determined to prove myself. I woke every morning and rushed to work. The decks were swabbed, counters prepped, lights on, macaron stacks in order, all before I could swing those doors open at a nice, sharp baker's 10 a.m. And then came the real working hours, prepping buttercreams and cooking caramels and burning jams, and rushing up to the front for a customer and rushing back for a question and answering the phone and filling the macarons. And it was a frenzy of wild man hours, all emotions escalated, all blunders catastrophic, all work overwhelming, all hours wild and awake, everything insane. And it was fun. I was bad. Like, really, really bad, but it was actually legitimately fun. There were no stakes in a career I'd never envisioned for myself. I was free to explore and learn and get better at something at my own pace, on the job, no less. I could feel the progress without the doubt. It didn't matter that I still sucked a bit at baking. The important thing was that I finally had proof that I could get somewhere through all my mistakes, that they were even a productive step from being bad to being good, and it was time to apply that back at Olin. So with the dream in my mind and a macaron in my heart, I headed on back, prepared to really make those circuits smoke and those robots smash into walls and stare at all those incomprehensible red errors and exceptions in my Linux terminal the night before a project was due. They're all just mistakes, like all those that went into our perfect little buttercream-filled cookies. If I can make a success out of that abomination of a skill set, I know I can craft something good out of this whole new one. I've seen me do it.